Hello everybody, welcome to Backwoods University, a university unlike any other university in the world. There is no graduation day here, you're never finished with your studies. We're constantly learning out here in the woods, and today's lesson is going to be setting up a trail tarp plow point style. Now, even before we start setting up the trail tarp, you have to think about the location where you're going to set up your tarp. Being that it's an open face shelter, and normally you have a fire in front of that shelter, you want to kind of set it up so that opening, the front, facing the fire, is not facing the direction in which the wind generally blows. So keep that in mind when you're picking a location. Which way is the wind blowing? Which way does it normally blow? And how you want to set up your fire if you're going to have a fire. But even if you don't have a fire, you still don't want the wind blowing in the front of that open shelter and possibly, flapping the tent. So keep that in mind, which direction the wind is going to blow. Now you've opened up your tarp, laid it out with one of the corners facing the direction of the wind. So this would be the back corner of the tent. And you've laid it out nice and flat. You've cleared the area of any big sticks or anything like that. And you're also going to need some cordage. This cordage here is made of hemp rope, but just about any type of rope will work. Step one is going to be staking the back corner and then loosely staking that corner and that corner. Staked, the two on this side, loosely staked because you're probably going to have to adjust those. You need a pole to prop up the front, and this pole here has got a little fork in it, and it's approximately, I don't know, maybe 6 foot, a little bit more than 6 foot. So let me show you what we do with that pole. Okay, we've got that propped up, and then this is where the cordage comes in. You want it about even on each side. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we get that. Then we're going to stake down that rope, which will stabilize this pole. Okay, you pull up on these tension a little bit. At this point, you've got your 3 corners staked, these 2 staked loosely. You got your front pole up, a couple of ropes to steady that. The simplest thing to do now, and simple isn't always better, in this case it's not, but the simplest thing you can do now is to take a pole about, I don't know, this is maybe a little less than 4 foot, and just prop up the center of the tarp from the inside. Something along these lines. Now the problems with that is, number one, you've got a pole in the middle of your space here. Number two, it's putting a lot of pressure on that center of the tent. So, and that might poke through. So you could use something like a canoe paddle, a little rounder, smoother of a surface to prop up that center. But I like to do it just a little bit different, and everybody's got their own method, but this is the way I like to do it. Instead of propping up the center with a pole, I ran this cordage down. There's a loop in the center of the tarp, and then if I would have had a tree back here, I could have run the rope to that tree, but I didn't have a tree conveniently here, so I used that same pole that I had the center propped up with and put the other loop of that rope on it, and then I got a couple of ropes here stabilizing it. The last step is you're going to want to go around and put the remaining tent pegs in, kind of tighten up the tarp a little bit, and those 2 corners that we left loose before, we're going to want to hammer those in, secure everything down. If you've got some gaps because of uneven ground, you can just push up some leaves or whatever. Trail tarp set up plow point style. I'd like to first off assure everybody that that wasn't civil unrest in the background. That was a gunshot. It's deer season. Somebody's out hunting today. So, and then I'd like to thank everybody for attending your very first class at Backwoods University. So I hope to see you again for another class.